My name is Kristin and I am a 2-time blood recipient, and I needed 42 units of blood in total to save my life during childbirth. I'm an account manager at Vitalant, and I am extremely grateful to work in an industry that I'm passionate about. I was pregnant with my second child, and it was 1:30 in the morning, and my water broke. A couple minutes later, I was having a full-blown seizure in my bed, and I was hemorrhaging, and I was kind of foaming at the mouth, and I was blue. My lips were blue, and so my body went into what they call DIC. It's disseminated intravascular coagulation, and in the medical community, DIC is coined "death is coming," because your body loses the ability to clot. I was suffering from a very rare pregnancy complication called an amniotic fluid embolism. And what it is when somehow amniotic fluid gets into your bloodstream and it's toxic for the mother. So your body begins to shut down. From what I'm told, I was bleeding out faster than they could put it in. And I ended up needing 26 units of blood that day. There's no predisposition that doctors can look for, and there's no indication that if you have it once, it would happen again. I have about 48 hours of memory loss, and I remember waking up in the ICU, and my husband was sitting next to me, and the first thing I said to him was, "Why are all these people in our bedroom?" So I literally, my last memory was of, my water breaking at home. There's so many people to thank. The paramedics, my husband for calling 911, the doctor that was on call. But I truly would not be here today if it weren't for blood donors. I had a massive hemorrhage where I was bleeding out, and I would not be alive if those 26 units of blood had not been on the shelf when I arrived at the hospital. A year after my daughter Emily was born, I was approached by the blood center. They introduced me to 6 of my donors. They would ask me to speak and share my story. And at the 5-year mark, my husband and I wanted to give back in a different kind of way, and we decided to host a blood drive at our house. We had the bloodmobile with our picture, pull up in front of our house, and invited all of our family and friends. 9 years after my amniotic fluid embolism, I found out I was pregnant with twins. In true Kristin fashion, I had another rare pregnancy complication. Sadly, I went to the doctor, my 20-week appointment, and we found out I had twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. Sadly, I did lose my daughter Faith at 20 weeks, about 9 hours after the surgery. The surgery was successful in saving my daughter Tessa from any lasting effects. I delivered both babies at 30 weeks. Because of having to carry Faith longer than a woman normally would, I ended up going into DIC again. I needed 16 more units of blood, and I spent 8 days in the ICU. Maternal advocacy is something that I take a lot of pride in, and I spend a lot of time doing. I'm part of the Amniotic Fluid Embolism Foundation. I also am part of a Mama's Voices group. I successfully petitioned to declare March 27th Amniotic Fluid Embolism Awareness Day. That's a mouthful. It's just the everyday moments that I'm grateful for. Being able to be a mom and be here to watch my kids grow up, because I truly wouldn't be here if it weren't for blood donors. It's crazy to me that I'm still here sharing my story. There's a quote that I was told, an event happened that is difficult to speak, but it is impossible to be silent. And that has driven me a little bit in my reason why I share my story and why I got involved in working for a blood center and why I do my maternal advocacy that I do. The goal is I want to make sure there's always blood donors. There's always an adequate blood supply so that the blood is always there when these things happen. I'm just grateful for every moment that I get and that I get to be here.